Right, so welcome to a new video. Today we're going to take a look at 7 real coloring book niches that I don't think can get ruined. Okay, so there's going to be no spoiling hot niches inside this video. We're going to only take a look at niches that I believe have got pretty much unlimited angles, that have got proven buyer traffic, that are actual niches, not just long tail keywords, which we'll talk about as we go through this. And part of my criteria for this is to make sure that the books in these niches have been selling for years, plus new books introduced into the marketplace are also selling as well. And also, I'm going to show you my real results that I've had with every single niche that I've entered into. So let's get into this and start with niche number 1, which is quote books, which are super interesting because they've been selling for a very long time on Amazon, and new books continue to sell because there's so many different angles that you can take with this, to the point where even just the phrase on your cover can be your USP. You can also cross niche this with different seasons, different events, different holidays. There are niches that you can cross this with, such as motivational, inspirational, swearing. Co-worker gifts are extremely popular during Christmas. Christianity. These sell at $9.99 and above. Quick tip: if you're going to sell any type of coloring book, believe in yourself and go for that $9.99 royalty at $9.99 price point at the very least. These sell in both 8.5 and 8.5 by 11. And here are some of the results that I've had from my quote coloring books. So we've published 3 different quote coloring books over the lifetime that I've been publishing. They've earned $116,000, 310. So pretty much all of these are carried by one book. In fact, the majority of my main pen name are carried by this one book, a quote coloring book. And as you can see, during December of 2023, it kicked off and made a ton of money in that month. But it continues to sell. It sells very well. And like I said, I think this niche has got a lot of room, a lot of potential for other publishers to enter without having too much of an effect on the marketplace. Since I know people will want to see the advertising spend on this, we spent $4,000 in the lifetime for this. Okay, so it's a massive winner of a book here. You look to find these winners maybe like once every kind of 50 books that you publish, maybe a little bit higher than that. So you can't expect to have these type of results just from one book. If you're going to publish these books, make sure that you publish more than one. Make sure that you publish to the point where the quality is at least an 8 out of 10 and you offer something different into the marketplace. Or if you can't offer something different, you have to try and do better than what already exists on the marketplace. So at the time of publishing these books, I believe that they were actually superior quality than what existed at the time. So one thing to note here, we didn't just lump $4,000 into this hoping that it would make sales. We started off our advertising campaigns extremely slow, looked at the data, and then said to ourselves, can we create more campaigns? Can we scale this book? And only at that point, when we had some good metrics, only then did we push more advertising money into this product. Niche number 2, and just very quickly, a little bit about me if you're new to the channel. My name is Chris. I've been self-publishing on Amazon for a pretty long time. In that time, I've sold nearly 200,000 paid units. I'm also the founder of Raydog KDP, which is the Chris Raydog membership. If you want to check that out, it's at chrisraydog.com. It is the fastest way to fast track your publishing success. It's linked in the description below. So niche number 2, we're taking a look at monochrome, and this is something that other YouTubers have made videos about. Everybody knows about this niche at the moment, but I still think that there is a ton of legs left in this niche here, because there's a lot of different angles that you can take with it. Even though the niche is very new, we've got a lot of publishers entering into this, and we've got some publishers doing well, of course, some are not doing well. But if you're going to go after any niche, especially a niche like this, you want to make sure that you're publishing more than one book if you're going to test a new idea. So maybe 5 books, and with the use of AI, you can do that very quickly. And again, you can cross niche this with anything that works in coloring books. So you're looking at things like cats, dogs, motivational, inspirational, swearing, seasonal, mandalas. There's just so much depth in this niche here. It's definitely one checking out. And you can see my results from this. We've published one book, which is nowhere near enough to get our own gauge of this niche. The results that we had from this since it was published a few months ago is $78 of royalties. We've overspent on the ads. So the book for this one is at a loss at the moment, but just because I'm not doing particularly well. It doesn't mean that the niche isn't good. The niche is extremely good, but don't expect in any situation to upload one book and make a ton of money. And of course, you can always go onto Amazon and check out the BSRs to see if I'm talking bullshit or not. But go ahead, take a look at the BSRs for these books. You'll be very, very surprised how well a lot of these are selling. Niche number 3, blue ocean books. Blue ocean books, so not literally coloring books of oceans, but we're talking about the whole blue ocean, red ocean thing. So what is that? Just very quickly, think of the blue ocean as being an ocean that's infested with sharks. Everyone's competing over the same thing. So you could think about your typical Coco Wire book for an example, whereas the red ocean, it's completely clear. It's an unproven concept. But of course, with this, there comes a lot of risks, and that risk being that nobody wants what you're offering. The reward, of course, is that you're potentially going to be the first person to do this. We've done this ourselves in that kind of cozy niche, you know, the Coco Wire cozy stuff. We took that, put a pretty obscure angle on it. I'll show you the results of this in just a second, but I wouldn't invest heavily if you're going to test this whole blue ocean, red ocean thing. So as an example of this typical Coco Wire books here, like these are very broad niches. They're extremely competitive because the way that these books are being found are through very, very simple search terms like coloring book or simple coloring book. And one thing regarding keywords is to make sure that you don't mistake a keyword for a niche. So, for example, cozy friends coloring books for adults. Whilst there may be some people searching for that, it's not the primary driver of books like this. So you're competing against so many people in that ocean. Whereas you take this concept and do something completely different, you're going to take the best of both worlds, where you have a chance of entering into this niche, but you're putting a very unique angle onto it as well. On the other side of the coin, whilst we're here, whilst I have this loaded, we also have these kind of flash in the pan type of niches like the 6-7 K-pop stuff, where I don't believe there's that much depth. And when these niches get revealed, people flood them. They do genuinely saturate these niches, and then it becomes kind of shitty for everyone. So in that case, with these niches, you need like 6-7 and K-pop and all those niches. You need to get in super quick. We did this with one of our bold and easy books. We got in as soon as we saw that those sales were taking off, and now that niche is completely saturated. Of course, you can still do loads with that niche. In fact, I would be tempted to include it on this list, but generic bold and easy books, as an example, super hard to get into. But with these type of niches like this, when you hear about it, they're taking off. You get in as soon as you can. With the advancements of AI now, we have the ability to jump into these niches even faster. So it becomes even more important that you're one of the first people to get into these niches, which is what we regularly talk about inside the Raydog KDP membership. We have members that will take the niches that we recommend, and they'll go on to make a ton of sales with them. But you've got to be there quick for those type of 6-7 niches to make the most of them. And people inside the Raydog community, we are up to date. We're always looking at the niches, and inside here, you'll hear about them before anybody else. So, like I said, I think this is more risky than it is not a risk because, you're introducing a new concept, but this is something that can obviously never be saturated. Ideation is pretty much infinite to some extent, of course. I did find when I was doing this, like testing new ideas, that the ads can become a little bit wild, especially if you're going with the automatic campaigns. But eventually, our campaigns did even out when we were trying this. We took the cozy niche and added something a bit extreme to it, and these are results that we've had with this one book where we tested it. So since publishing this one in November 25, I think it was, its approximated royalties are 2,250, as you can see. We spent, I think it's just under $1,000 on the advertising. Again, educated advertising spend across different countries for this one as well. So again, still in profit here, selling, ticking over nicely every single month. This is not the first book that we've had like this. We've tried a few, of course, but that's why it's super important that you manage your advertising campaigns, get to a quality that you're happy with before or that should I say that the marketplace accepts as a good quality before you run your advertising campaigns. So moving on to number four. In fact, this is an interesting one because I started my coloring book journey with color by numbers. I think I had a coloring book pen name to begin with in 2020, maybe. Then I moved on to a different pen name where I tried color by numbers, and I'll show you the results of these, even though I unpublished all of these books. In fact, I can show these books in another video and do a case study on them if people want. But these are evergreen. They're always popular, both for adults, seniors, and children. Yes, I know adults and seniors, same thing. Sorry, adults, seniors are considered adults, but when you're specifically targeting older adults, seniors, using that as a keyword can be very powerful. Like I said, my first ever type of coloring book series. You can go year specific with these. I would say you can go gender specific, but I think people like they've done here. But I think people are a little bit more touchy to that. In fact, I've read some reviews on some of these books that are gender specific, saying, "Oh, I didn't realize my young girl couldn't color these," and you got to be careful with that. But going gender specific can, of course, help you niche down. There are people that still accept that. Whatever, it doesn't matter to me. Okay, so you can go seasonal with this. Everything you do, you can go seasonal with these. And again, same situation here where you can pretty much cross niche this with anything that you want. And I'd go as far as to saying that you can take your existing assets and turn them into color by number books. That's something that we're going to be looking at as well. So we have six color by number books here that have made 4,600. There was very minimal advertising spend on these. They were published back in 2021. As you can see in July, although it might have been October, I started unpublishing the main ones here. They just didn't align with the type of quality that I was looking for any of the pen names that I was working on. Unpublished them, kind of regret that if I'm being honest now. But either way, there's still money to be had in this niche. So moving on to number five, niche number five, mystery mosaics, much less competitive than coloring books and color by number, where they're going to be much harder to create as well. But again, same situation, many topics, many different angles you can put on these, and I would price these higher. And the way that I would think about pricing higher is that if the barrier to entry is higher than other books like coloring books, for example, then I would go ahead and price these higher. But it depends. Can AI make this? If AI can make this quickly, I would price accordingly. If you can't make it with AI, it's going to take some additional effort, which means the barrier to entry is higher, which means the price that you sell it for can be higher as well. Again, provided that you reach that certain level of quality. I've yet to test this one. I know some of the Raydog members make some good money with this niche here, but again, you can always check the BSR to confirm that there's a good amount of interest in niches like this. And just a quick tip here, if you're going to do your BSR, if you're going to do your research through BSR numbers, make sure that you download the free Helium 10 extension, the Chrome extension for Helium 10. It's going to give you historic data on how well this book has been selling, how well these niches have been selling over a prolonged period and not just on any given day. Okay, so moving on to niche number six. I say niche number six of eight is number six of seven, but seasonal and event angles, and this is something that we recommend to publishers who are just getting started. I prefer evergreen. I prefer to have that nice, predictable, constant stream of sales coming in from the evergreen books. But one strategy that we recommend to the Raydog members is that if you're just starting off and you want to give yourself the best chance possible, you can go the seasonal route because you will get that bump in traffic. Okay, so what you can do here, of course, you can target so many different events and holidays, etc., etc. Christmas, winter, Valentine, Easter, Mother Day, Father Day, Thanksgiving, spring, summer, autumn, St. Patrick's, marketplace specific events and holidays as well. So what we recommend publishers do who are on a budget is to take as many of these as you can, as many events as you can, and just spread them out across the entirety of the year. So you're always getting that bump of traffic when these events happen, especially Christmas and Valentine, I find do extremely well. So niche number seven of seven, should I say, is going to be the coloring practice. It's extremely desirable niche. You can see the bigger boys like Vivi Tinter, Coca Wire. They all make books like this. It's going to take you longer to create. AI can definitely assist you with this. You would likely need to have some manual work done on this as well. So again, if you're going to go after this, it has to be very good because the competitors' books are very, very good. Lots of angles to be had here. You could niche this down to just patterns, just textures, just shading, whatever it is, or you can take a different approach to the way that your practice pages are laid out. There's a lot that you can do here, and colorists enjoy practicing, especially beginners. Okay. One other thing as well, if you're going to go after like a generic book like this, where it kind of covers everything, like the how to color, you want to be. And if it's the same for like high content books, if you're going to just go into a niche like chair yoga for seniors, you have to be the best of the best to get there. If you can't be the best of the best, you have to kind of carve out a smaller audience within that bigger audience, if that makes sense. Okay. So, for example, we could be, if we don't think we can compete with this on a broad level, we can niche it down to something more specific, like how to color landscapes and different lighting effects, environment effects, so things like that. Okay. So again, same situation here. You can reuse your previous assets inside these books, especially if you're doing coloring books. We're working on one of these at the moment. We've had it as a background project for like a year now. It's not a priority, but this niche is extremely desirable. So as you can see, we actually did a case study for this book. I haven't published it yet, but I do case studies inside of the Raydog membership on the live calls. So we do live calls, live group calls every single Friday. They all get recorded. We've got like 97. I do case studies for all my books, even books that don't do well, which are plentiful, of course. I did a case study for the quote book, the one that did over $100,000. We've got case studies on that. We've got the new actual niches. When I find the new niches, I do videos, live calls about those niches so publishers can get in first. We had people get in on the 6-7 stuff, the K-pop stuff super quickly, and the Monochrome stuff when that was popular as well. But all these calls, they get recorded. There's loads of them. We're super up to date. I'm actively publishing myself. I show my pen name, everything that I'm publishing myself. You can see inside this. I got nothing to hide. And as part of the membership from day number one, as part of the Raydog membership, you get access to all the course content that comes with it. So if you do feel like you learn better from course content, everything is included so that you don't have to pay ridiculous money just to get one course. We include everything inside the membership, from niche research, keyword research, launching your book, Amazon ads. And we do, if we ever change something, like if the Amazon ad strategy changes, we do live calls on that. So publishers are always up to date. As you can see, the live calls, they're all recorded here. Okay. And on top of all this, we have an absolutely ridiculous, included with the membership, we have an awesome, very active Discord community where you can just talk about publishing, where you can find someone to be where we talk about publishing. We have tips and guides section here. We have a feedback section, which is the most popular section here, where people can come in, publishers can come in, they can post their book covers, their video ads, whatever they want feedback on. They can get feedback from me, other people who are doing well as well, and just just get a lot of feedback from people in general to give yourself the best chance of reaching that high quality and making your books worthy of having ads run to. So if you want to check this out, you want to fast track everything in your publishing journey, no matter what type of book you're publishing, chrisraydog.com. At least check it out. Just go check it out, take a look at it, see what you think, take a look at the results. And that's it for this video. It's chrisraydog.com, linked in the description below. I'll see you in another one very soon.